Everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Phoenix News Live, produced entirely by students at Millennium Charter High School on McKay TV. Welcome back to another episode of Phoenix News Live, produced entirely by students at Millennium Charter High School on McKay TV. I am your host, Andrew Palafox, and thank you for joining us. Today we have another World on the Street with Julia Mahano. Then we'll check up with our boys Elliot Hill and Skylar Russell with the latest on gaming. And Alex Heredia will wrap things up on Phoenix Sports. But before we get into that, we have a new update with Millennium Journal on the latest school announcements. Prom is almost here. Prom is this Saturday, May 12th at 7:30 p.m. at Wave Street Studios in Monterey. Tickets are $50 per person and $90 per couple. Check in with Marilyn for tickets and more information. Continuing on the subject of prom, we have this year's King and Queen nominations coming in hot. This year's King nominees are Diego Hernandez, Alexander Heredia, and Isaiah Flores. Our Queens this year are Alexa Lopez, Mariana Ramirez, and Charisse Calise. Voting starts Friday, so get ready and cast your votes. Moving along, let's get into more serious national news. Our own Julia Mahano will talk about why the disastrous volcanoes in Hawaii should serve as a cautionary tale for California residents. Julia?
Hi, my name is Julia Mahano, and today we will talk about Hawaii's most recent tragedy. 1,700 people have been ordered to evacuate their homes after Kilauea's eruption. It's been said that it was triggered by a 5.0 earthquake on Friday. 35 structures, including 26 homes that have been destroyed in the Leilani Estates area. A day after the area was hit with a 6.9 earthquake releasing large amounts of lava. The danger posed by the eruption comes from the slow-moving lava flowing through the areas. These flows destroy anything in their path and are impossible to stop. Coming into summer, California should be concerned with both fires and earthquakes, as the state has had a problem with both. Earthquakes can happen at any time of the year and occur without warning. Although they usually last less than a minute, aftershocks following the initial earthquake may occur for hours, days, or even months. Earthquakes cannot be predicted. If you find yourself in an earthquake, it is important to get on your knees to avoid injury from falling and to cover your head to protect from falling debris. Unlike earthquakes, fires are preventable. To protect your homes from fires, make sure the area around your home is cleared of flammable materials and that the wiring in your home is in good shape. If a forest fire is heading your way, get everyone out of your house and leave the evacuation zone. Back to you, Andrew.
Okay, thank you, Julia, for that important update. We wish the best for all residents and people in Hawaii. Now, on to Game Boys with Skylar Russell and Elliot Hill for the newest update on the new game, Red Dead Redemption 2. Elliot?
Hi, I'm Elliot.
And I'm Skylar.
And this is the Game Boys. Last week we talked about an indie game, and the week before we talked about esports, which means now it's time to talk about new arrivals and that are coming out soon.
The game we're going to talk about today is Red Dead Redemption 2. It should be on. My mic is on. The game we're going to talk about today is Red Dead Redemption 2. Ever since the May 18th, 2010 release of the first game, people have been eagerly waiting for a sequel. The first Red Dead Redemption was the story of an outlaw, John Marston, trying to start a new life for him and his family in 1911, towards the end of the Wild West. He must help the law and find other members of his past gang in a story of adventure, action, and tragedy. All we know of the new game is that it's a prequel game set when the gang of outlaws were still together.
The game has a new main character, Arthur Morgan, who is the enforcer and the right-hand man in the gang of the leader of the gang. Rockstar Games, the developer of the game, is very secretive with details and have mainly just leaked pictures of the amazing world, which consists of phenomenal graphics. The gameplay details are up to speculation right now, but for what we know, we know for sure the release date is October 26th, 2018.
Well, that's all the time we have today, but we might do another episode on this beautiful game when it comes out. In the meantime, don't forget to check back next week for another episode of Game Boys.
Thank you, Elliot and Skylar, for that gaming update. To all of you gamers out there, you can go check out the new Red Dead Redemption. Should be a blast. Lastly, we have another sports update with Alex Heredia on Phoenix Sports on the latest news in Sports Update. Alex?
Hello, this is Alexander Heredia, and welcome to another episode of Phoenix Sports News. Started off with the NBA Conference semifinals. Sunday night, the Warriors beat the Pelicans 118-92. Most likely, the Warriors will win the series, and now they have a 3-1 lead. The last game of Sunday night was the Rockets versus the Jazz. The Rockets came out on top 100-87. Tuesday night, the Boston Celtics are looking forward to end the series at home after the 76ers finally got their first home win of the series and will now try to force a Game 7. The last game of the Tuesday night was the Cavs versus the Raptors, and LeBron does it again as the Cavs beat the Raptors 128-93 and sends the Cleveland Cavaliers to the Eastern Conference Finals. There was a lot of action this weekend. We got Golden State getting back to work after losing Game 3. Game 3. It's going to be hard for New Orleans to beat them at home. Knowing the Warriors are very hard to beat at home. There's a lot of pressure. The fans really make a difference. It's very loud in there. We'll see how Anthony Davis and the Pelicans see it and try to beat the Warriors and try to force a Game 7 also. Now, the Rockets are also looking really good. Donovan Mitchell will try to come back as he did it with Oklahoma City. And Boston Celtics, I believe they're going to take this series. I don't think Philadelphia is going to be able to force a Game 7. They really lowered the game a lot this series, but we'll see. Now moving on to soccer. This weekend was full of a lot of action to start it off in Mexico's Liga MX playoffs. America knocked out Pumas and out of the competition after beating them 2-1 at El Azteca with an aggregate of 6-2. Very sloppy work by Pumas, and America, like always, playing with everything they got. It was just something simple for them, and now they will be facing Santos tomorrow night. Later on that night, Los Cholos de Tijuana shocked Monterrey after beating them 2-1 with an aggregate of 3-2. Everybody was surprised at this game because Monterrey is known to being one of the top clubs and one of the favorites to win this season. But now Cholos played like never before, and they've never played like this during the season. They played it with a lot of passion. They just really went out there and really looked to get the game, and they got it. Sunday morning, Los Diablos del Toluca tied with Morelia, but since they got 2 away goals, Toluca advances. The last game of this Liga MX playoffs was between Tigres and Santos, where this was an embarrassment to Tigres after Santos eliminated them by placing higher in the league table. Like I said, this is very embarrassing for Tigres. They have one of the best teams in Mexico buying European players. They bought a world-class player, Vargas, and it's just embarrassing not to win a title. They didn't make it to they didn't get past Toronto in the CONCACAF Champions League. It's just a team that just has to win because of the team they have. But it looks like their team isn't enough. To end it off with La Liga's El Clásico, the game between Real Madrid and Barcelona was disputed in Camp Nou, home of Barcelona. It was a fantastic game between both teams, and they both gave it all they had. It ended with a 2-2. It started off very intense, and the ref started off with the game with bad calls. But it went as they went through the game. In the 10th minute, Luis Suarez gave Barca the lead. 4 minutes later, Cristiano Ronaldo evened things up, but got injured as Piqué stepped on his ankle and was subbed at halftime. Right before the first half ended, Sergio Roberto was expelled after throwing a punch at Madrid's left back Marcelo in the face. Then Lionel Messi in the 52nd minute does it again and puts the ball near post where Navas would have never got it. Barca up 2-1 after that, but it was until the 72nd minute where Gareth Bale scores a beautiful outside of the box curve shot, top right, where Ter Stegen was shook and would have never got to the ball. This is a very controversial game, and what was talked about the most was the referee. The referee did a horrible job, or not a horrible job, but it was a job that could have been worked on. He didn't call 2 penalties on Real Madrid, one on Marcelo where Jordi Alba clearly kicked him, and another one, I forgot what it was, but it was a clear one. Now the ref, starting off the game with Rakitic, one foul after the other in the first time. Right away, Real Madrid does one foul and gets a yellow card. Like, that is just not fair. But Gareth Bale did get saved from a red card. He did a couple of dirty fouls, but Barcelona was just really mad, I guess, because they really wanted to win this Clásico to redeem themselves from being knocked out of the Champions League. But it's just Real Madrid was comfortable with the tie. They're in the Champions League final, and that's where they're focused in right now. They're focused on beating Liverpool and getting that 3rd straight Champions League final. That is all we have today. Thank you for tuning in, and see you next time.
Thank you, Alex, for the latest sports news. Things are getting crazy in the sports world. Well, that's all we have for you today. Thank you for tuning in to Phoenix News Live. We will be back on Thursday at 3:45 p.m. Until then, this is Andrew Palafox signing off.